From the studios here at CATV6 and RobinHoodRadio.com, welcome to Simply Sports. My name is Andy Williams. Thank you once again for tuning in. It is October the 23rd. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're just 8 days away from Halloween and all those other great seasons that are coming up. But I'm not going to say the one thing that's going to be coming up shortly, and that's a four-letter word that starts with S and ends with W, and I'm really not going to say it, but anywho. A lot on the plate today. A lot to talk about today. We're going to start first over on the local scene. Excuse me. And we're going to talk about Housatonic high school sports. MCW United lost to O'Brien Tech this past Saturday, 44-0. Their next game is at Wilcox Tech in Meriden this Saturday night. And hopefully they can pick up their first win there. The Hoosier boys soccer team dropped two very, very tough games against both Litchfield and a very good Northwestern. But actually, both teams really good. Northwestern really good in Class M. Litchfield, one of the best in the state and arguably the best in Class S. Lost two very tough games to them, both 3-2. Dropping their record to 5-6. They have 3 games coming up. They have a game today at Gilbert. They're home on Friday against Thomaston, and then they travel to Chippewa on Tuesday night. The Hoosier girls soccer team lost their first game to Litchfield, of the season to Litchfield, 1-0, dropping their record to 8-1. Still, however, making them number 1 in Class S. They have 4 games coming up on the schedule this week before we meet next. They're home today against Gilbert. Tomorrow they are at Northwestern. Friday they are at Thomaston. And then they are home for Chippewa on Tuesday. And now I want to talk about probably the biggest story in Housatonic sports right now, next to the girls soccer team. And that's the Hoosier girls volleyball team. The Hoosier girls volleyball team had a great campaign this past Friday in their game against Mount Everett. They did a Dig Pink campaign. It was a game for breast cancer awareness. They raised a lot of money. And I'll tell you what, I've never seen a gym for a volleyball game that packed in an extremely long time. Not probably since I was in high school. I would say easily they had, if I would have to guess, maybe 200 people, close to 250 for this great cause. And trust me, they did not disappoint both teams. It came down to the very end, and Housatonic prevailed in the 5th set, winning 16-14, picking up their 4th win, and then last night picking up their 5th win against Terryville, their first Berkshire League victory of the season, improving them to 5-7 and putting them in the conversation for a state tournament bid, putting them 3 wins away from an automatic berth. Their next games are tomorrow at home against Dover, Friday at Colby Cathedral, and then home Tuesday against Nottawag. Go out and support Housatonic sports wherever you are, and good luck to all Housatonic sports over this next week, wherever you go. World Series last night. Game 1, my goodness, what a fantastic game it was. Garrett Cole facing Max Scherzer. Astros take the lead 2-0. And then the Nationals do something in which hasn't been done to Garrett Cole since May 22nd. And that's rough him up. They tack on 5 runs, the most runs he's ever given up since that May 22nd outing against the Chicago White Sox. The Astros come back late, but the bid comes up short when Hudson and Doolittle from the bullpen of the Nationals shut down the Astros bat, and the Washington Nationals steal Game 1 in Houston 5-4. Everybody said, myself included, that this would be, you would see a lot of 2-0, 2-1, maybe 3-2 would be top. I did not see a 5-4 game. I did not see an offensive game. But we saw a lot of excitement from both teams. And I truly believe that this is going to be a 7-game series. I don't think that this is going to be a one-sided series. Yeah, the Nationals stole Game 1. They did what they had to do. I think the Astros are going to come back with Verlander in Game 2, and I think Verlander is going to be vintage Verlander and get the W for Houston in Game 2. So that is how the World Series kicked off last night. The also thing that kicked off last night was the NBA. It's hard to believe that last night was opening tip finally of the NBA season. And I don't know if anybody watched both games. I happened to tune in to the ring ceremony of the Toronto Raptors. The rings were probably about the size of this baseball. Their championship rings. That's not a joke. The ring was massive. It was a great ceremony. And the game didn't really disappoint either, because you kind of figure, okay, you get the rings, the banner gets raised, you know, the team's going to be kind of lackadaisical, the other team's going to win. Not the Raptors last night. And big thing, no Kawhi Leonard. How would they react? Well, the game went to overtime, and the Raptors got the job done against a shorthanded Pelicans team with no Zion Williamson, the same Zion Williamson that has a torn meniscus and will be out 6 to 8 weeks. So basically, you are not going to see Zion Williamson, arguably the next coming of LeBron James, until the 1st of January in 2020. I think we can assume that. The second game was the Clippers versus the Lakers. Now, the Clippers were home, but obviously it was more of a Laker home game than it was a Clippers home game. Everybody wanted to see LeBron and Anthony Davis. And they didn't really give Kawhi Leonard that great of a reception in Los Angeles. And I found that very surprising. I did. Because Kawhi Leonard just led a team pretty much from choking dog status to NBA champions last season. And now he joins a Clipper team with 8 straight winning seasons. Just got Paul George, even though Paul George didn't play because he was hurt. But still a team that won 48 games last year. and beat the Golden State Warriors twice in the first round and gave them a very big scare. The game was back and forth, and the Clippers wound up on top. And they won by 10. Kawhi Leonard didn't do his talking with his mouth. He did his talking with his play. 30 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Basically outplayed LeBron James, both offensively and defensively. LeBron James had 18 points, 9 boards, 8 assists. And I think that that's very, very alarming right there for a big game, opening night, and your one big superstar, LeBron James, can't even break 20 points. Now, I understand he's got to distribute the ball a lot more, and he did that to Anthony Davis quite a bit. I have no doubt that the Lakers will make the playoffs, but right now, do they have a championship formula? No, not even close. Not even close. You have the full slate of NBA games on today. And I'm going to make my NBA Finals prediction right here, right now. Mark it down, what I'm about to say. I'm going to take the Philadelphia 76ers versus the team that won last night, the Clippers. I think that that'll be a fantastic final. Kawhi Leonard going up against Joel Embiid. Paul George versus Ben Simmons. Matchup upon matchup upon matchup. This is the most exciting NBA season, too, that we've had in about 25 years, arguably. You got James Harden and Russell Westbrook in Houston. You have all these free agents that have moved around. What are the Nets going to do this year with Kyrie Irving? What are the Sixers going to do? How is Giannis going to react with the Bucks? Is he going to have another MVP-style season? This is good. And what are the Celtics going to do with Kemba Walker in their lineup? Are the Knicks going to be competitive this year? No, let's not. I did watch a Knicks game, preseason game, against the Pelicans. They were very scrappy. They're young. I still think that they're 2 years away. But I think they're going to be in a lot of games this year. And I was wrong. I did originally say that they were going to win 23 games this year. I don't think so. I think that they're going to win more than that. I think you could see the Knicks winning maybe between 28 and 30 games this year. If they win more, hey, I'll be just as shocked as you are. So, wrestling news. And this is arguably the big news that is going on right now. Instead of the whole crown jewel thing and Tyson Fury getting paid $15 million to just show up to this event. And, I mean, the whole crown jewel pay-per-view thing that's going on next week in Saudi Arabia, that's going to be nothing short of a dud. I can pretty much tell you what's going to happen. Seth Rollins is going to retain his title. Tyson Fury is going to beat Braun Strowman. Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez is going to be like a no contest, or Brock Lesnar is going to win dirty. And the New Day is going to win the best tag team in the world. That's what's going to happen. So, but that's not the big news that's going on in professional wrestling. The big news that's going on in professional wrestling right now as we speak is quite possibly 14-time champion Randy Orton jumping to the other company. That's right, AEW. It could happen sooner rather than later. And you're saying, well, how do you know, Andy? How do you know? Well, I saw it on Twitter. Chris Jericho being one of the major shareholders in AEW, goading Randy Orton into coming to AEW once Randy Orton's contract expires. And Randy Orton very playfully put up the big clock saying tick tock, tick tock. So it's looking like that move is going to happen sooner rather than later. Over in Prague, over at the Czech Republic, the World Series of Poker Europe is well underway. And right now, going on as we speak, is the $25,000 mixed game championship. And what a final table right now that's still going on as we speak. And the final table consisted of two of the biggest names in all of poker, Phil Hellmuth and Daniel Negreanu. Daniel Negreanu busted out in 6th place. And right now, as we speak, they're on a break. And this is live updating as we speak right now. Phil Hellmuth currently has the chip lead with over 14 million chips over his next closest competitor, Basim Ott, with 12.5 million. If Hellmuth is successful, he will once again build his legacy and become a 16-time bracelet champion, which would be unheard of. Unheard of. Everybody says he's a great no-limit hold'em player. Yeah, he's won the majority of his bracelets in no-limit hold'em. He's won a couple of Raz championships, but if he were to win this one in an 8-game mixed game championship on the big stage, you could make the case that Phil Hellmuth is arguably one of the best, if not the best, all-around poker players of all time, when all is said and done. So stay tuned to that. So moving on to college football. I went 4-1 this week against the spread, improving our record to 22-18, batting a solid 55%, still in the money. And another 5 games on the slate, and I'm going with all road teams this week. All road teams. Going to start Appalachian State. They are giving 26.5 to South Alabama. I think Appalachian State is going to cover this spread, no problem at all. I think they're going to blow them out. And Appalachian State, who's undefeated right now, could they wreck the party? Who knows? Auburn versus LSU, 2 versus 9. LSU being the second-ranked team in the nation, Auburn being ranked number 9. LSU is a favorite by 11.5 at home in Death Valley. Give me 11.5 in a rivalry game all day long. I will take Auburn with the points every single time because, granted, this is going to be a close, low-scoring game. I think LSU is going to win. I think they're going to win by a field goal, maybe a touchdown. But they're not going to win by more than 11 in the hook. So give me Auburn with the points. Penn State only a 6.5-point favorite against Michigan State. This smells. But I think that Penn State is not going to have that emotional letdown. I think Penn State's going to win this game handily, and I like them as a favorite by 6.5. Arizona State only a 3.5-point favorite against UCLA out west. I like the Sun Devils and Herm Edwards out west in the Rose Bowl. I'll take them as a favorite by 3.5. And then finally, Oklahoma State traveling to Ames, Iowa to take on Iowa State. I'm going to take Oklahoma State. Give me the points, 10.5 against Iowa State. I think it's going to be high scoring. I think it's going to be a close game, but the deficit is not going to be more than double digits. I'm telling you right now. Give me Oklahoma State with the 10.5. So that is college football. Now as we move on to the pros. It was nice to see the Dallas Cowboys show up Sunday night after that pathetic performance against the Jets. And they made the Jets offense look like the New England Patriots, blowing out the Eagles 37-10. And then on Monday Night Football, the Jets are who we thought they were, looking like a bona fide high school football team, losing to the Patriots 33-0. Sam Darnold, 11 for 32, 86 yards, 4 interceptions, 1 fumble, and the claim that he is seeing ghosts. You cannot make this up. It was mic'd. It was on live television. He said it. He mouthed the words, "I'm seeing ghosts." That is not good from a franchise quarterback. But that's not what we're taking out of here. The story we're taking out of here is I happened to turn on Monday Night Countdown on ESPN. And Adam Schefter, who's NFL insider, probably the best in the business, came forward and gave the notion that Tom Brady is going to void the final year of his contract, become a free agent, and leave New England after this season. Now, I was like, whoa, wait, that's crazy. That's absolutely nuts. But then he delved in. Now, I understand if the Patriots were to run the table, win another Super Bowl, have a perfect season down in Miami, win the Super Bowl, finish off a perfect season, 7 Super Bowls, and a completed undefeated season, then Brady and Belichick retire. There's nothing more they can accomplish. But we're a long way away from that. Now, yes, the Patriots' schedule does look a little bit dicey. They still have to go to Baltimore for a primetime game. They still have to play the Cowboys and the Chiefs and the Bills one more time, but there's a chance that they might run the table. And they just picked up Mohamed Sanu. But again, that's not the story. The story is that Tom Brady could be a free agent and could be on the move after this season. So back to what Adam Schefter said. Adam Schefter said Tom Brady has sold his house in Boston. His trainer has sold his house in Boston. So what does that mean? Is he gone? Is he moving 20 minutes down the road? Is Silo Ridge going to be Tom Brady's permanent address from here on in? It could. Could he be moving to another team? Maybe. Could he be just moving to say, you know what, I want to win a Super Bowl with another team because, yeah, I'm going to be 43 years old, but I'm still the best quarterback in the league by a mile. but I want to do it on another team without Bill Belichick. That could be. There is only one place that I could see Tom Brady moving to, and that is the Chicago Bears. Because Mitch Trubisky is god-awful. They have a great defense, top 3 defense in the league. Tom Brady could go to that system very easily and win there. They have some receivers. They have a decent offense. They don't have a quarterback. Tom Brady, insert him. Instant NFC favorite right there. And trust me, Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers, give me Tom Brady every time. So that's something to look forward to in the next short run. I don't have very much time left. I'm going to be very crunched for this. Went 7-7 in my NFL picks, 62, 43-1 for the season. Here we go, really fast. Washington versus Minnesota. I have Minnesota winning that game. Seattle versus Atlanta. Seattle handily. Philadelphia traveling up to Buffalo. Here's where Buffalo starts slipping up. Here's where Buffalo starts coming back to reality. Philadelphia embarrassed in Dallas. That's not going to happen again. Philadelphia wins this game. The Chargers travel to Chicago. I think the Bears defense rules the roost. Chicago wins here. The Giants travel to Detroit. I think Detroit finds a way, close game. Don't be shocked if this game goes to overtime. Detroit finds a way to win a close game against Danny Dimes and the Giants. Tampa Bay versus Tennessee. There's really no interest here. Tennessee wins against the Bucks. Denver travels to Indianapolis. Indy wins handily. Cincinnati travels to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. Or no, this is a London game, I'm pretty sure, since this game is at 1 o'clock. I had to do a double take for a minute. I'm pretty sure they're playing overseas. Anywho, it doesn't matter where they play. They could be playing in any country in the world. The Rams are going to win by 3 touchdowns. Arizona traveling to New Orleans. New Orleans boasts one of the best defenses in the National Football League. Teddy Bridgewater, 5-0 since Drew Brees went down. We're going to make that 6-0. I think Kyler Murray comes back to reality. New Orleans wins this game. The Jets take on Jacksonville. The Jets are terrible. Let's face it. Jacksonville wins handily. Carolina versus San Francisco. This is going to be the game of the day, right here. Here's where San Francisco will lose a game. It's one of those games where you don't really, a really unpredictable game, really. But I think the Carolina running game is going to take over. I think McCaffrey's going to have a big game. Carolina wins this game in San Francisco. Cleveland versus New England. New England wins handily, continues the roll. Oakland versus Houston. Deshaun Watson, huge game coming. Houston big. Sunday Night Football, Green Bay traveling to a Patrick Mahomes-less Kansas City team. Aaron Rodgers, coming off the best game of his career, is going to have a similar performance against a very bad defense. Green Bay wins. And in a Monday Night Football game, which nobody really wants to watch, Miami versus Pittsburgh, I pray to God that the World Series is on at this time. Pittsburgh wins handily. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in to Simply Sports on this Wednesday, October the 23rd, 2019. By the way, happy birthday, Marshall Miles. Just want to say that. For him, for Michael Flint, for Brian Oler, thank you once again for tuning in to Simply Sports. 1, 4, 3.